come up, you stay on hard.
Hello, good evening. Welcome to another live episode of the BCSN SportsWrap, the longest running HBCU sports talk show on the interwebs. I'm Bryan Fulford, that's A.D. Drew, and we're here on a lovely, lovely Sunday evening where, Drew, I don't know if you are I know you're a busy person these days, so you probably miss a lot of things related to NFL action. But
Bryan, I saw the football yesterday just watching my own team that I did not want to even think about looking at somebody's football today,
Well, I enjoyed a bye week. I didn't my team didn't lose, and then all my other teams won. So gruesome injury for James Conner. Anyway, I'm watching. So let me just say, if you are a red zone ticket, red zone watcher? If you're an NFL red zone watcher, I can't even describe to you, Drew, how dramatic and fun it was watching the last 30, 40 minutes of NFL action on the red zone. I mean, from block kicks to return from scoop and scores, to the bad beats. I tell you what, it was fantasy lineups getting crushed, victories being snatched from the jaws of defeat being snatched from the jaws of victory. I mean, any way possible, Drew. I mean, it was what it was. It was a beautiful day. Beautiful day. And it just coincided with a beautiful day in the college football world as well. So, a lot of teams, took some L's, some big L's, really, really big L's, and some teams just got some big wins. So, yeah. So, shout out to everybody joining us, however and wherever you're watching us. Thank you for watching, tuning in on the Jericho Broadcast Network's BCSN YouTube page, My JBN Online. You also might be out there watching on the Black College Sports Network Facebook page, our BCSN SportsWrap YouTube or Facebook pages, Instagram Live. What up, Instagram Live? What up to the folks on Twitter, watching on Twitter as well? A.D. Drew and I recapping week number 4, or I don't know. I'm still calling it 4. What y'all Division II folk like to call it doesn't concern me. But week number 4 of the Black College football season and heading into week number 5. Coming up in this show, we got some guests joining us, got some friends of the show. Actually, a pair of folks from the HBCU Nightly cast will be joining us at the bottom of the hour. None other than Joshua Sims himself, the host and creator of HBCU Nightly, and of course, former North Carolina Central alum, player, and very proud fan. He's probably a fan, alum, Mr. I told you so. I know he's very proud. You can keep that. You can keep that. I'm not acknowledging.
Hey, Bryan. We're gonna have to test Josh when he gets here for steroids or testosterone or something, because his chest gonna be so swollen and sticking out so far, it's gonna be tough for him to stay on screen, man.
I can't say nothing to that man today. I am just listening and learning. I'm trying to figure out how we gonna handle them on October 11th. That's all I'm trying to figure out. Right. So I may try to see what kind of information I can pull from him, so I can temper the expectation and the pregame. I mean, we're 3 weeks away from that matchup between FAMU and North Carolina Central. And we got a lot more pressing things in front of us, but for a non-conference game, mid-season non-conference, that's a huge game. Huge
and
game.
Brian, there's somebody else who's going to be gloating. So whatever the equivalent to a man walking around with his chest hanging out, Erica Rochelle is going to be doing the same thing. Brian, Howard finally,
yes, finally
breaking the streak.
Yes, indeed. Top of hour 2, Erica will join us for a few minutes. She, of course, also a co-host on HBCU Nightly. But Drew, if I could start the show, I want to first, and it's funny you mentioned that. I want to first offer some apologies. I have to start here because you know me, I can be petty. I can be a lot of things.
Not you.
No, I mean I admit what I am. I can be petty. I can be fun, or at least in my own mind, I think I'm fun or funny. I can be.
Jackson State folk don't agree with that though.
Not talking about them. They're on a bye week too, so they should not even. That's one. I'm gonna try to see how many times we can avoid talking about who was on a break. So I'm talking about them, Drew. See, that's one for you. I'm trying to avoid talking about them. But yes, I will start off by saying to our cousins on the beach, the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats, and none other than a good friend of the program, Hale, HBCU Band Talk, and Theron Waters, and to the rest of Wildcat Nation, I apologize. I got it wrong. I will admit I got it wrong. I really thought Edward Waters with the Brian Jenkins story going down to Daytona Beach, I really thought that after the big win, Drew, I was bought in and sold that they were going to go to Daytona Beach and do what Clark did to them, to the Wildcats last year. And I could not have been more wrong. And Drew, there's two things that tipped me off that I was going to be in trouble with my prediction. And it's so bad, people must have known that I had been picking this game for so long that other shows were commenting about the upset and my name was being referenced. Yeah, shout out to Jamie Walker and Sly. They're referencing me as being the guy leading the upset charge. And I'm like, whoa, fellas. I couldn't be the only person out there who was talking about this game as an upset. But maybe I was. Two things happened during the course of the week. First thing was the Friday presser by Edward Waters, in which they took the interim tag off of Coach Jenkins. They did this on, I think it was Friday, right? And the next day they're supposed to be heading down to Daytona Beach. And I get it, you want to reward. I mean, they just had their biggest win in program history, I think, in beating Virginia Union. Biggest win in program history, Drew. And, Coach Dr. Faison, Zachary Faison was saying how he had seen so much in just 3 to 4 weeks, maybe 5-6 weeks, whatever. He's seen enough that he wanted to take the interim tag off. And I'm like, whoa. Did it have to be right then and there? Did it have to be prior to the revenge game? And then the second thing, so let that serve as one point. And then the second thing is I saw the pregame conversation that somebody had on the interview with Coach Jenkins. And, obviously somebody had asked him, about the magnitude of the game, and he played it off. It's no, it's no big game. Blah, blah, blah. And I said, oh, hell. I said, Drew, right then and there, I knew before the game even started, I said, They walking into this game, collecting a check, happy that we're here. You know, Coach Jenkins got a full-time job. He's no longer in the interim. I don't know the terms of the contract, but Edward Waters was fooled, Drew. I could say it in another way and be a little more vulgar, but let's just say Edward Waters was fooled when they walked into that stadium against Bethune-Cookman, and it's no wonder that Bethune-Cookman kind of rolled them a little bit the way they did. So to the Wildcats, this might be the only time I ever say this, Drew, and you can attest to this and confirm this, but I apologize, Bethune-Cookman. I apologize for not thinking you were capable of beating a Division II school like everyone else has done this year as an FCS member. So to Bethune-Cookman, I apologize. And if I get one more apology in here quick, I'll be real quick.
Hey, you on a roll. I am not going to stop you.
Right.
Anybody out there got some hot sauce for Bryan to go with this crow?
My other apology goes to Howard. I actually pronounce it with the Howard with the H on it. Howard, not Howard. 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 Howard came through, and from the first drive, Drew, they came out like they were tired of losing 8 in a row, 20, 22 of the last 26. Basically, they have been the stomping doorpost for this rivalry, quote unquote, for this century. I mean, so I'm telling you, Howard from jumped on Hampton, and they did not let them off the hook. They beat them up. They beat Hampton up, and I had never seen that happen before. And I kept waiting on it to turn because I'm thinking this isn't sustainable, is it? And I was watching that game. I had that game set up in my little quad box, and I'm watching it. Man, by halftime, I knew it was over, but I just couldn't look away because I'm thinking, oh, maybe there's a halftime. Maybe there's a second half in which Hampton, the real Hampton, is going to show up.
Because we've seen it before.
Yes, exactly. We've seen it happen. The real Hampton did not show up. I don't know who that was, but the real Howard showed up, and they showed out. And Drew, it made me feel a little more comfortable. I'm gonna say this. It made me feel a little more comfortable about what I saw in week 1, and tells me that they weren't, as some of my friends called Howard, or maybe it was their Howard offense, called it trash or called them trash. I'm not really sure which one. I have to go back and check the tape. But they were far from it. Howard is now 3-1, and not a bad squad. Played like what I thought they were capable of, and so yeah. So I apologize, Howard and Howard fans like Erica for the years of torment and talking about you and typing tweets without the H. Y'all really earned that H, and really good squad. And yeah, so apparently, Drew, there's a hit list, and it makes sense, right? There's a hit list, and they scratched off 2 teams that they have been losing to for a while off that hit list, and I can't wait to see who's next because there are a few teams that are next.
Well, so, speaking of the next, and despite what Stephen Gaither says, for us who don't live in the region of North Carolina or South Carolina, Bryan, I'm going to re-ask the question that I asked this morning. Could this be a year where we see a MEAC representative for the Cricket Celebration Bowl who does not hail from the Carolinas? One of the Carolina, North or South, Steve, since you want to say they are separate. But everybody has had Carolina in their name except for 1 year, Bryan. And that was the year when Howard and Florida A&M played in the Cricket Celebration Bowl. And there are 2 teams right now who are making a claim that they're going to break their Carolina stranglehold on the MEAC title. One being the Howard Bison that you just got through talking about. And dare we say it, Brian, the shocking, surprising team of HBCU football on the FCS level, the Delaware State Hornets. Let's be real, everybody. In July, when we talked about these two NFL coaches coming to the MEAC, how many of you all, raise your hand, don't lie to me, said that Delaware State was going to be the better of these two teams?
I can't find them. I don't.
Crickets.
Crickets, literally. Crickets.
Not only was Delaware State the better, has shown to be the better of the two teams, they may arguably have the best quarterback on the Division-I level in HBCU football. Now, I know there's a guy over at Alabama State who makes a good argument against them, and and it's still early out to get a definitive answer on that. But he's definitely top 3, Brian. Definitely top 3 quarterback in FCS HBCU football right now. Can Delaware State do it? Can Howard do it? And Brian, let's talk about something else. Let's drop down to the lower level, Brian. Let's talk specifically about the conference where I get my bread buttered. That being the SIAC, Brian. What was more shocking to you, Brian? The fact that Benedict beat Tuskegee so handily on Thursday night, or the fact that Allen upset Clark Atlanta on yesterday? Benedict gave up their first points all season long. But Brian,
thank you.
In 3 games, they have given up 17 points. And all 17 points occurred in the first half to Tuskegee. So through 12 quarters of football, Brian, the Benedict defense has shut their opponents out in 10 of those quarters. Let's think about that, Brian. That's less than 6 points per game.
Yeah, it's
no. And on the last thing, and they had an offensive, and they had an offensive explosion, also. Because before that, they had been averaging exactly 14 points.
Yeah, they had a. So I'm glad you brought up Benedict, because I was paying attention to that. I don't know. They're both equally shocking, Drew, to be honest. But yes, I was paying attention to Benedict and wondering. I don't know. First off, full disclosure, I did not even know that game was happening on Thursday. Was it on? I'm assuming it was on ESPN Plus or something like that.
It was on Plus.
Yeah. Did not have. I was out of the loop a little bit, maybe just busy with life, whatever. So I missed that game was going to be on, and I do think we have to start considering Benedict as being for real. Not only the fact that they've had the
defense is
2 shutouts, and then
24. Final score was 45-24.
Yeah. Tuskegee did get a late score in the fourth quarter, I guess. So
yeah.
They
got a garbage touchdown, and let me rephrase that. Benedict kicked off. They scored with 10 seconds left in the game. And kicked off.
It is garbage.
EJ Hall, who ran it back for a touchdown for the score. And oh my God!
With 10 seconds left. 10 seconds left. 10 seconds left.
Is EJ Hall making a claim for SIAC Player of the Year?
I don't know enough of his stats, but I see he had three
touchdowns.
3 touchdowns in the game.
1 special teams, 2 offensive.
Yeah.
The transfer from Troy University.
Yeah.
Local Tuskegee native.
there's a lot of talented players in the SIAC. So, I mean, I think whoever wins MVP is probably going to come with their team's success going to the SIAC championship game, in my opinion. So,
EJ Hall's stats from this game: 4 receptions, 117 yards, 2 touchdowns, a long of 55. And on special teams, on punts, he had 2 punt returns for 21 yards. And on kickoffs, he had 2 returns for 108 yards, including the 92-yard touchdown at the end of the game, the walk-off. Well, you can't call it a walk-off if you don't win the game, but
no, you can't.
As time expired.
There you go. Yeah, Benedict 3-0 overall, 2-0. How about sitting 2-0 in first place along with Allen University? And you asked if I'm surprised. I'm not, because I knew Cedric Pearl was building something. I remember talking to him last year when I did a game for Allen at Edward Waters. And he's one of those teams that I think when we talked in the preseason, I said it's a team that I would be interested to see what they do and who they give a headache, whose headache are they going to be this year, and already taking out Clark. Who knows if that may end up being one too many losses to help Clark,
It's on his first conference loss.
It is, but then again, when you get first, there's no divisions, so it's now best record.
Top two.
Yeah, and you're already, you're already behind, and so it's a race, and that's when I know we'll eventually kind of look at the schedules and kind of see what strength the schedules look like, because now we're starting to get into conference play. Really, we've gotten to that point where really everybody's non-conference games are probably all done. There may be one or two.
Wait, SIAC, you'll still see non-conferences in the SIAC and the CIAA because there are an odd number of teams in those two conferences. So somebody is off every week. That means it's either going to be a bye or a non-conference if they take their bye a little bit earlier in the season.
Yeah. But for example, when I look at this schedule this week, with the exception of Miles, everybody is playing a conference game because
and Miles is in the Circle City against Morgan State. What I was saying, right. Somebody always has a non-conference opportunity. This week it's Miles.
Right. So other than that, then you get all conference games this week. But
it's going to be pretty much like that for the rest of the year. But there will always be one team that's out of conference or on a bye.
Right. And I'm telling you what's I'm not going to use I'm going to use the parity word a little earlier, because I do think it's interesting seeing teams like Kentucky State show themselves to be capable and be a competitive ball club. Giving credit to the fact that they probably should have beat an FCS opponent last week in Grambling State. We've seen Edward Waters beat a non-conference CIAA team that
the defending HBCU national champion at that level.
Yeah. I'm fascinated. I'm really excited about the SIAC and watching how this plays out.
It's exciting for you because you're not in the conference, Ryan.
Yeah, I'm not worried. I'm not sitting in the seat that you're in. Definitely. I think for us fans, as we watch, we can watch and watch and see how this all plays out. But
hey, Blue Jacket, on that basketball question. If I knew the answer to that, I would give it to you. The only thing that I can tell you is that the coaches voted on it and approved the shift in the schedule.
Explain what he's referring to, Drew, if you would, since we
No,
kind of did a pivot from football to basketball.
The SIAC basketball schedule now will have 24 conference games. That's up from 20 or 21 conference games.
Wow.
And which meant more crossover between the two divisions. So the proposal was voted on and passed by the coaches. So it had to come out the coaches committee before it could go on to the athletic directors for their approval on it. So the coaches blessed it, and the athletic directors and conference commissioner allowed it. So and a lot of it had to do with trying to raise the strength of schedule in the conference, trying to avoid playing the NAIAs and non-conference. Those do good when you're trying to get your conference rating up and trying to get at-large bids or get out that number 8 slot when it comes to Division-II tournament.
But how many games? I mean, you only get
20. You get 20
overall.
You get 26 unless you play in a weekend tip-off type event, which means you could get 28 plus you get 3 exhibitions. And those exhibitions have to be against a non-Division II opponent, meaning you're going Division-I, Division-III, or NAIA.
Well, so you can go get a paycheck essentially for going play in a FCS school.
Division-I in basketball, Brian. They don't know FCSs.
I'm sorry, yeah, division. We're talking basketball, yeah, Division-I. Yeah. So you can go play Division-I
and the exhibition, which you'll see plenty of exhibitions.
They don't hurt you,
right?
They don't hurt you, except if you're the Division-I team and you lose. Then you got your fans looking at you like, oh, how did you lose to Division-II?
But that's it. It's just your fans.
It doesn't matter, but still, perception.
I like Howard Morgan last year.
Yeah,
Morehouse. Morehouse last year.
Yeah, perception hurts the eyes of the fan base. Could cost the coach a job too, depending upon how you're doing the season. And then, I'd like to see how that works out. The math isn't mathing, especially if you're trying to improve your rating. Then that means you're saying that we have how can you prove that you have a strong conference when you don't play anybody outside of the conference?
Brian,
make that make sense to me. But anyway,
Brian, I know where I get my bread buttered.
I know. I'm asking. I'm asking questions that you don't want to answer on
all
air.
I can do is give the facts that I can make public, and that is all that I can make public.
Let me ask one final question, basketball related, because since it did come up this week, actually, Media Day is your Media Days are coming up in the SIC, right?
Correct. Media Day is Tuesday and Wednesday here in the Atlanta area. It's actually going to be in Morrow, Georgia. And it's going to be at a new facility that's opening up here in the area this fall, which the SIAC basketball tournament will be played in that place as one of the first major events in that place. One of the first major sporting events that will be held in that place. It's approximately a 7,000 to 8,000 seat arena, I believe. So I'll be able to give you a little bit more of a report on next week's show.
Can you watch it online? Will you be able to watch online? Will it be visible streaming?
If I had, once I get the information, Brian, I will pass it on to make sure that people are able to tune in as best as possible. If not, you can always go to morehouseathletics.com and we will give you a summary of at least the Morehouse portion of it.
All right. Let's take our first break here at the bottom of the hour, and we'll see if we have our first guest coming up here at the bottom of the hour. Either way, we're going to talk about the dish that was served cold. I mean, cold up in Greensboro, North Carolina. They call it the classic. Other people will call it a beatdown, a walking the dog. All kinds of things happen in Greensboro where the chicken is sometimes served spicy and sometimes it's just not good enough to eat and swallow. So we'll talk about.
I call it BTA.
That too. That too. We'll talk about the Aggie Eagle Classic, hopefully with our next guest after the break. Otherwise, if you're an Aggie backer, you may want to kind of plug your ears or hit the mute so that you don't have to hear.
But don't turn us off because we need the ratings.
Yeah, don't turn it off. We need the views. So don't turn us off. Just go ahead and maybe get your dinner started or something.
Yeah, go cook some dinner. Get you a beer. Do something.
Coming up on the other side, you're watching the BCSN Sports Wrap right here on the Black College Sports Network. We'll be back in just a moment.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavill of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU Sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
For over 30 years, HBCU Image has been more than just an apparel store. We've been a movement, a statement, a legacy. We celebrate the pride, the purpose, and the culture that make historically black colleges and universities legendary. Whether you're a student or a lifelong supporter, our gear lets you wear your HBCU story with confidence and style. Because when you wear HBCU Image, you're not just wearing clothes. You're wearing culture. You're wearing pride. You're wearing purpose. HBCU.
College football fans, the Cricket Celebration Bowl is celebrating 10 years of crowning an HBCU national champion. A champion will rise at Mercedes-Benz Stadium on December 13th as the MEAC and SWAC champions clash in Atlanta. Join us for championship football, interactive fan experiences, and iconic marching bands. It's an HBCU family reunion that you don't want to miss. See who will be crowned the next HBCU national champion. For event and ticket information, visit thecelebrationbowl.com.
All right, welcome back to the BCSN Sports Wrap. Bryan and A.D. here. I want to encourage any and everybody who, if you're a podcast listener, do us a solid and go check out, download the BCSN Pod Zone on your favorite podcast platforms, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, anywhere that you download and get podcasts. Go check out BCSN Pod Zone. You can get all of the shows that appear on the Black College Sports Network on the YouTube feed, but also some extra shows like She Say Sports Podcast featuring Sonia, and then also Brave Talk with Charles Edmond, covering Charles does his interviews with the coaches, and most recently the Cedric Thomas coaches show. So all of those shows, as well as the shows that appear right here weekly on the network, you can catch them all. So we appreciate you guys checking it out. If you missed the show this morning, Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab, you can go listen to that on the podcast. Also, if you go check out Carlos Brown, if you missed Carlos on Saturday, you can check that out as well. And yeah, definitely, Edwin, appreciate you checking out She Say Sports. She usually drops new episodes on Friday morning, and then we will have the feed up on the podcast platform as well later. So go check those shows out. Our guest, Joshua Sims, will be joining us shortly.
I think he's still partying from last night's victory, Brian. So he said he was running a couple minutes late.
I caught a little bit of their post show on Twitter Spaces, which is a great avenue, without having to get all dolled up to do video shows. It's kind of nice. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of work that goes into putting all the graphics and all the stuff and making sure it's streamed out. But if sometimes Twitter Spaces is nice and easy, and it's almost like a radio show on the internet. And but they were having a hoot, man. It was one of the co-hosts, Tandia, I believe is her name. Just coming out with an ether gun, just to any and every Aggie who might have thought that they had a chance at winning that game, Drew. I mean, it was.
Can I get one piece of advice? Be careful. Yeah, be careful when you open up scores to games in public. I was partaking in an adult beverage after our game yesterday with a colleague. Shout out to Antoine Bell for coming and helping me out over there at Morehouse on yesterday. And Brian, when you open up your phone, looking at scores in public, and the first, not the first one, but when all right, let me check out Central game, and the next thing when I opened it up was GD.
You're like, oops, I'm sorry. Oh, hey.
And then I passed the phone because Antoine's a FAMU grad, worked in the SWAC and the SIAC for many years. But he's like, oh, and he said OS.
Yeah. Like, oh.
Yeah. Oh crap.
Sharp.
After I showed it to him. So be careful where you open up when you look at scores, where you open up your phone at. So but Brian, speaking of that game yesterday, and I'm taking a look at some of the stats of this game, Brian.
Hold on a second before you get into stats, because before you get into stats, I got to give a shout out to I got too many doggone graphics up. Hold on, let me remove a couple things here. Because I saw a very good tweet that was posted by I want to give him credit here. Jay Anderson at J Tisdale 5, right? So he's a South Carolina State grad, an 06 grad. So he's definitely a decade or so behind us, Drew. But I want to shout out because I love it when people do research. I mean, we're research heads. We love stats, but more importantly, we love research, right? Yeah. And so honestly, we're very in tune to this rivalry. And there's some big time rivalries. Like this was a big rivalry. This upcoming week, you've got Southern Jackson State, Prairie View. Is the Prairie View Grambling? Is that this? Yeah,
State Fair.
Yeah, the State Fair. So, I mean, just they're the Howard Hampton game. That one was another big time rivalry, and we're talking games that have been played for decades. Reaching the 100 mark, if not already at the 100 mark. But anyway, I'll read his tweet. His tweet, he said he had to look it up. Rival schools that put up back-to-back 60-plus points. The last to do it was Grambling over Prairie View 94 and 95. So he was talking the last time that somebody put a 60 burger up on somebody was 94 and 95. Those are the 2 years that Grambling put up 60 burgers on Prairie View. And
they put 50 up the next year.
I know, but they threw them out though. The fact that you put 60 on them.
But Brian, there should be an asterisk with that one because that's when Prairie View was in they dog days, Brian.
Look, well, Drew. Now, if there's no asterisk next to that, but if you want to go deep into the understanding, okay. But
Dr. Cavill,
that was the last time. So that was the last time that somebody put up 260s prior to this. Obviously, last year Central put up 66, a 66-24 beating. And then they came back and did it again, 62-20, right? So it'd been nearly what? 20, is that 20, 30 years? What is that, 30 years?
Yeah.
30 years.
30 years.
30 years, right? That's how long it's been in a rival game. But I love the fact that he even goes further. He says, Howard, though, is the only one to do it twice. And FAMU, the only one that did it 3 straight times to their rival. And here's what he's talking about. He's talking about this, the fact that, Howard, I don't know if you can see it there with the graphics, but if you look at 86 and 87, Howard put up, I got to take off the one graphic, the little square in the top corner. I got it. Okay. So there you see, Howard took out Morgan in 86, 87, and then in 92 and 93, they did it again to him, right? And then when he's talking about the 3 in a row, now I don't know when this occurred, when this FAMU one occurred, but I got a feeling this one happened in the Jake Gaither days. This happened to when FAMU played Bethune, right? I had a feeling this must have happened during, hold on, let me remove that. Yeah, that must have happened during the Jake Gaither days when we beat up on Bethune 60, 97 to nothing, and then 76 nothing, So I don't know. Those must have been, but case in point, though, again, it's been 30-something years since a school had beaten a rival by 60+ twice. So shout out again to Jay Anderson. And joining us now, North Carolina Central alum, former player, on Cloud 9, co-host and creator of HBCU Nightly.
Josh, I need you to push
Josh
your chest
Lascelles.
back in before you come on because your chest is just poking out right now.
Hey, man, stick it out.
Because you're so full of it right now, man.
Stick it out. Let them know, man. Let them know, man.
Hey, man.
How's it feeling
fellas,
this morning, man? How's it feeling? How's it feeling?
Man, it feels phenomenal, man. Can't complain. Couldn't complain even if I wanted to. It's a beautiful day in Eagle Land, to say it nonetheless. We still are celebrating a little bit, but we only got a couple more hours of celebration, and then we got to get ready to move on to East Texas A&M.
I can't find which stat is more impressive to me. Which stat is more impressive to you?
Yeah.
Total points, total yards, the individual numbers. I mean, what's the most impressive stat?
Can I go first? Can I go first before he goes?
Yeah, go ahead.
2 safeties in the first quarter.
Yeah.
That's the stat that's most impressive to me.
Yeah.
But I mean, you see teams that go entire season without a safety. Yeah. 2 safeties in a season is a good season defensively for a team. But for you to get in 2 safeties in a game is impressive. But 2 in 1 quarter?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That's the stat out of everything that I looked at the stat sheet. That's the thing that's stuck out to me. I'm sorry, Josh. This is your team. I'm gonna let you go.
I agree, man. That is incredibly impressive, man. This defense, for everything that we've heard about this defense, and it's a resurgence of this defense under first-year defensive coordinator Jesse Thompson. Yesterday, they finally started to put it all together. I mean, even the only real, out of this world touchdown that they got yesterday being the school down the highway against the defense yesterday was really honestly a situation where it could have been a pick six. Ball goes right through the cornerback's hand. Could have been a pick six to the crib, and we could have been looking at this completely different. And I think if that pick six would have happened, what I really, really wanted, and I talked about it a little bit last night, just in a quick little recap I did. The only thing I was disappointed in was the fact that I didn't see as many of their fans leaving the stadium as early as I wanted them to. I wanted them to leave the stadium in the first half. I knew this was gonna happen. But Bryan, to your question about what's the most impressive, listen, I had to go look this up, man. I'm starting to become 1-on-1 with AI and artificial intelligence and the chat GPTs of the world and those things. So I looked it up last night. As I was doing my research, I looked it up last night. So not only was 765 total offensive yards, not only was that a new school record, it was the first time we gotten close to that type of number. We've never been over 700 yards eclipsed in our school's football history. We've been playing football since the late 1910s. We've been playing football in North Carolina Central since the late 1910s. So well over 100 years worth of football history. We've never gotten anywhere. We've never gotten to 700. We got close. That was 685. That was the days where Air Harvey, Robert Clark, and all those guys there in North Carolina Central when they were throwing the ball around. And it was a different time. Because during that time, you see more running offensive. So Air Harvey and what those guys were able to accomplish. But here's the craziest thing. This was the most impressive part of this. When using artificial intelligence, I look to see, well, what is the actual record on the FCS level for single game total yards at any time in history? 2012, Tyler Heineke, quarterback at Old Dominion, 2012, playing against New Hampshire University, they put up 790 total offensive yards.
Ooh.
So you're talking about 25 yards from tying the FCS record.
Wow.
26 yards from setting a brand new FCS record. And a classic that's been going on for over 100 years. This is 103 years we've been playing these guys. We've only not played them 5 years out of our 103 years we've been playing them. Since 1922, we've only skipped playing these guys 5 times in 103 years. This was the 97th Eagle Aggie Classic. All right, depending on who you ask, they're gonna say it opposite. All right, if you are North Carolina,
everyone got to talk about it as Eagle Aggie.
It's Eagle Aggie Classic.
Yes, it is.
And this was the first time that we've gone on a 4-game winning streak in the series since the 1970s, which is a time period that's fairly significant to my family and I. My uncles were there, and believe it or not, it is also significant. The 70s at North Carolina Central is significant to Trey Oliver. His parents were students. His mother and father were students at North Carolina Central University in the 70s. The last time we went on a 4-game winning streak in this series. My grandparents were at North Carolina Central in the 60s. My uncle was at North Carolina Central. My uncle and aunt were at North Carolina Central in the 70s. So I can remember the times hearing the stories about what this team looked like in the 70s. In the 70s was when North Carolina Central was a co-founder of the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference. They were one of the 2 most dominant programs in the 70s in the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference. And then they ended up leaving at the end of the 70s and coming back to the CIAA into the 80s. And so when you look at that, 25 yards away from matching Tyler Heineke and that offense at Old Dominion when they were still FCS or 1AA at the time, that is the most impressive thing that we almost saw. And if we being honest now, there were some moments where this absolutely could have been 800 total yards yesterday. And the fact that we were that close to history yesterday, to national history as an HBCU, planning the classic, the thing I grew up around, that was the most impressive part. I will say, man, I was kind of trying to hold this in. Like, we got HBCU nightly tonight, so I'm gonna hold a couple of these stats in, but also, the other part of this in that overall statistic is Christian Mosley. Christian Mosley, I said it last night, Bryan. You heard me say it. I love nephew. I'm proud of what he's doing up at UVA, being Jamari Taylor. But I don't need to hear Jamari Taylor's name as it pertains to North Carolina Central no more. And I'm talking specifically to our fan base. we have a young man this is special. What we're seeing from this young man, statistically, we haven't seen since Robert Clark. Many of you guys may remember Robert Clark ended up going to play in the NFL from North Carolina Central, played in the 80s at North Carolina Central, was a student athlete at North Carolina Central when my mother and father were at North Carolina Central, when my wife's father was at North Carolina Central. Robert Clark was the man at North Carolina Central and ran circles up, down, and through the CIAA during that time period. What Christian Mosley, the start to Christian Mosley's season, statistically, we haven't seen since Robert Clark. His 5 touchdowns yesterday matches the record that was made by one and only Robert Clark yesterday. So there's so many statistical differences here and points to be made here. But, ultimately, man, I'm proud of the entire performance. Could have been worse. So if you are a School Down the Highway fan and supporter, listen to me. This could have been worse. Please understand that the reason why it wasn't is because your head football coach is a North Carolina Central graduate. His daddy played at Central. He's a Central grad. So that's the only reason why it wasn't an 80 on that scoreboard yesterday instead of it being 62. Okay.
So y'all decided to get him on the yards instead of the school. I understand how y'all do it down there.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. We still want look, Drew, we still want Gibbsy to feel welcome to come home for homecoming, man. You know what I'm saying? We still want we call him Gibbsy, man. You know what I'm saying? His father, Stanley Gibbs, played in the 60s, played cornerback in the 60s at North Carolina Central. He was a dorm mate with my grandfather at North Carolina Central. So we know the Gibbs family very, very well, man. Shoot. Man, Gibbs himself was an all-conference running back at North Carolina Central in the CI when we were still in the CIAA. So, man, listen, we still want him to feel welcome to come home during homecoming. We don't want him walking around homecoming and having to look all over his shoulder, look all over the place. You can come on home for homecoming. You know what it is. We still nice people.
Well, they probably helped Chris Mosley get to who should be the BIAC Offensive Player of the Week. You talk about those stats, Josh. 11 carries for 168 yards, 3 touchdowns with a longer 75. And then the other half of what you're talking about, 4 receptions for 90 yards and 2 touchdowns. So, but you also had another person who ran for a century also. Arthur Rogers, 12 attempts, 129 yards, and 2 touchdowns of his own. I mean, y'all don't leave too much out there for Walker Harris to have to do. But he did 22 or 29 for 380 with 3 touchdowns, no INT.
Right, 380.
380. Wait, think about this, Bryan.
On a light day.
You had your quarterback pass for 380. You had a running back go for 168, and another running back went for 129. Bryan, I mean, I haven't seen stats like this ever.
Yeah. It was an interesting day to say the least, man. For everything that we could talk about offensively, I think I'm just as proud of what I saw on the defensive side of the ball. Holding yet another team this season under 300 yards total yards yesterday. I will say this though, not to continue to kind of punch down on a dead horse or punch down on a limping puppy. But from my perspective, Kevin White looked like a very consummate quarterback yesterday. He was composed in some moments. Unfortunately, what he was kind of faced up against was that offensive line. You're going to have a hard problem. Outside of Kelby Givens right now in HBCU football, it's only a conversation between two as it pertains to defensive linemen in HBCU football right now. It's Kelby Givens and it's Thomas Johnson. It's Kelby Givens and it's Thomas Johnson. Kelby Givens was leading as we went into the game yesterday. Kelby Givens was leading all HBCU defensive linemen and tackles for loss or for sacks. Then right behind him was Thomas Johnson. Thomas Johnson eclipsed Kelby Givens yesterday with sacks yesterday. I think he had 2 sacks yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. We had maybe 1 TFL and 1 sack yesterday. Right now, as it pertains to defensive linemen in HBCU football, it's a 2-person conversation. It's a 2-person conversation. Interior D-line yesterday, Christian Smith looked incredible yesterday. I mean, I saw him take on double teams. It was clear that Courtney Core, who also is a North Carolina Central graduate, who's now on the North Carolina A&T coaching staff, made a beeline to the offensive coordinator's office during the week and said, if you don't stop anybody, you better find a way to stop Christian Smith. And mission was unaccomplished. All right, mission was absolutely unaccomplished. He took on double teams yesterday.
Mission
He
impossible.
shed blood. Mission was impossible, first of all. All right, mission was impossible. That defensive line got too much camaraderie and too much time together. And then you know, not for anything, you look at that linebacker core and you got a wily veteran like Max Urin back there at the Mike linebacker who was able to, because his defensive line was opening up the gaps. I don't gotta wait too long to go get to this running back, man. We were not worried about the passing game yesterday, which I assumed that they would take more shots, especially because I think Kevin White is a halfway decent quarterback, man. I think that young fella with a little bit more time. It was unfortunate that his first game back from being out so long on injury was in the Classic, but I think that young fella is all right. I do. I think that young fella is all right. I think that Greg McGee is going to do perfectly fine with him and developing him. Who's offensive coordinator at the school down the highway. I think he's going to do fine developing that young man. They still got a long season. They got to get ready for Maine. But, you know, the truth is that, you know, their problems start and end in the trenches. And if they don't get that shored up, it's going to be a mighty long season, because if y'all don't know, for homecoming, they got them bad boys from South Carolina State coming in town for their homecoming. And if you think we did them bad, South Carolina State hates them just as much as we do. Maybe not as much, but just a little bit less than we do.
All right, Josh. Go get Josh up out of here. Oh, you got one?
Yeah, let me ask one question before, because I know you got the show tonight. 8:00 Eastern, correct? 8:00
Yes,
Eastern,
sir.
HBCU Nightly. So I just want to find out, with this upcoming game this week, East Texas A&M, who's
the big niece? They the big niece of HBCU football right now, because you know Big Niece used to play all the HBCUs. Now it's East Texas A&M now.
Yeah.
But didn't they used to be Texas A&M Commerce? Is that the same?
They were Texas A&M Commerce. Yes, sir.
Okay. So I saw that, you know, obviously they gave Grambling fits. Grambling had to pull out a win late in the fourth quarter again. My question about Central, is this the game that tells us who Central is? Because we've seen these great performances by Central. Then we've seen the 180 side, where we've seen the offense struggle, the defense struggle a little bit. Yeah. Is this that game? Because this is that game, and then you get the bye week, then you got the FAMU game, and then you got another bye week before conference. Are we at that stage where now we get to find out who Central is?
Yeah, you know, honestly, man, and I've said this a couple times, if you look at the structure of this schedule and you look at what Central's performance has been so far this year, it's the exact same as it was this time last year. If you look at the season last year, Walker Harris won yesterday was his 13th start. That's his 13th victory as a starter at North Carolina Central University. He entered into the top 5 as far as for starting, in the top 7 as far as for starting quarterbacks, winning as quarterbacks in school history. So what we've seen last year, he went 8-3. They you know, kind of came out of the gates beating Alabama State, then, you know, fell to Elon at home, then went to go play against FBS, UNC Chapel Hill, and lost, and then rolled off, you know, win after win after win after win until they had a 3-point loss to get against South Carolina State, and then won the rest of the games of the season. It's the same situation this year. You open up the season, you beat Southern in the MEAC SWAC Challenge, neutral site game against a SWAC opponent. You go down and you go back home and you end up losing the game to New Hampshire at home. Then you go take on FBS Old Dominion, who is on fire, you know, after beating Virginia Tech, right? And then you get out of that game, and then you go win after win after win after win. If you look at this game last year, this was the game that gave North Carolina Central's offense the confidence that it needed to go on the run that it went on. Most offenses prolifically, right? Just historically, if you go in a game against another FCS opponent and you score anywhere from 50 points or above, that generally is the springboard to your offense's confidence the rest of the way. They now know it ain't but so much that we can or cannot do. We now completely understand where our limitations are, where our guardrails are. We know the opportunities we can take advantage of. We know if a defense presents us this type of front or these type of looks, that this is the type. So when you look at that game, even against New Hampshire this year and Elon last year, both of those games were the first game of the season for both of those opponents. Both of those teams had film on us. We didn't have film on them. So we had a chance to kind of go against it. I have no expectations right now that any HBCU is in a position right now to beat an FBS opponent. So I didn't go into the Old Dominion game thinking that we would beat Old Dominion. I felt like I wanted to learn as much as we could from that game. If we put ourselves in a position like we did, 4 opportunities in the red zone, we only came away with 3 points. When you look at that, you say, okay, now we know the thing we got to fix. We got to fix our red zone offense. You saw it yesterday. Red zone offense, no problem. We get right down into the red zone. We make some adjustments. We make some things. So I think this team has already figured out, Brian, to your question, I think this team has already figured out where its deficiencies were, tried to improve on said deficiencies, and tried to take advantage of those things. And what you saw yesterday was the first chance for them. And you saw it last Saturday a little bit, but against Division II Fayetteville State. But you saw it yesterday for the first time against another FCS opponent, what this team can look like when all cylinders are on the same page and all things are clicking. If I'm East Texas A&M, I don't want to see this team right now.
No.
Especially coming off of being in a dogfight against Grambling. I'm going to tell you now, we ain't Grambling.
No, true that. Yes.
We ain't Grambling. Now that's no disrespect to Grambling, right? That's no disrespect to Grambling. But we ain't Grambling.
Mm-hmm.
Grambling's issues, if we had Grambling's issues, yesterday wouldn't be what you end up seeing. We might have been on the other side of this win-loss column yesterday if we had some of the issues that Grambling has. So, and it's early in the season. Grambling probably has an opportunity to get those things fixed. What I'm saying is because we started a week earlier than everybody, and we've had a chance to go up against some really, really good football teams. New Hampshire, for those of you who are watching, who don't know how good New Hampshire is, you go look. We talk about HBCUs not being in a position, yes, right now to be able to beat FBS. They almost beat Ball State, which is an FBS program. All right. We talking about really good football teams that have been on the schedule that we've had a chance. Southern, as bad as people want to rag on Southern right now, we didn't know what Southern had.
True.
We knew Kelby Givens was a grown man over there on that defensive line, right? And so at this point in the season, I will say I think we have figured out who we are. And if I'm East Texas A&M, I don't want to see this team right now. Not with all this confidence they're going to get on the plane with. I think they're going to travel out Thursday. With all this confidence they're going to get on that plane with Thursday, this ain't the team you really want to see right now. And so I think that they got an opportunity. And we're not looking far down the periscope. We still got some opportunities for some games here coming up. We want to take care of the business that's in front of us. And so we're looking forward to the challenge that we get again with another. Listen, we've proven that we the HBCU in the MEAC that's willing to go play anybody, anywhere, anytime. So any ADs out there that's watching the show, if you're looking for some opponents for 2026 schedule, 2027, 2028, give us a call at 919-530. Just Skip, my fault, Skip. Shout out to AD Skip Perkins, man. Skip, I ain't doing your job for you, bro.
Man,
oh my God,
man. HBCU nightly tonight, 8:00 Eastern. Give all the plugs and handles right quick, Josh, so we can get you out of here so you can get ready.
Absolutely, man. Well, first off, man, these two here, man, these my brothers, man. Thank y'all for letting me be on the show, man. Just to talk a little bit. Hey, man, make sure y'all tuned in tonight now. We got some props.
After you get done
after
watching
you're done watching the SportsWrap. Now, this where you stay your butt right here. Make sure you tuned in to the very last second. But as soon as you're done, come on over to HBCU Nightly Network, hbcunightly.com/watch, or you can watch it on all the streaming platforms. So we are on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, all of the streaming platforms. We there as well at HBCU Nightly. We're gonna have some fun tonight. We got some props, we got some things. There's some ways I'm gonna say what I said so eloquently here with Bryan and Drew. I said it the nice way here with Bryan and Drew on the SportsWrap, but I'm telling you now. Y'all tune in tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's gonna be a good time tonight.
I don't know who comes with a bigger heater, you or Tundia, because she came with 2 shotguns like strapped on the back of her shoulder, Take that.
Listen,
I couldn't do nothing but laugh. I was like, boy.
Brian, but not only Tandia, y'all need to be looking out for Erica tonight. Howard knocking off Hampton yesterday.
Speaking of Erica, as soon as we end this conversation, she's waiting in the waiting room.
My dog. That's my girl. I had to make sure. See, that's a nice plug. That's why we all together. Yes. That's why that's my co-founder at the network. She run the network for us also. I appreciate it. But all jokes aside, man, Drew, Brian, I appreciate y'all. Brian, I got to make sure I get with you when I come down to Tallahassee now.
Definitely, for sure. We'll catch up. All right, man. Be well. We'll talk soon.
Hey.
Have a good show tonight.
Hopefully, I'll
Appreciate
see you in Atlanta in December, my brother.
You know that we got some events set up now. HBCUnightly.com/join. 3 days worth of events during Celebration Bowl weekend. We rolling them out, man. So make sure y'all stay in tune. We might see if we can get with Drew, man. See if we can get Drew out there in them bowling lanes, man. We can get him out there in them bowling lanes. Appreciate y'all.
All right, Doc.
All right.
Good
Good
stuff.
stuff. Good stuff. All right. Yeah, let me make sure to remind people. So Central this Saturday at East Texas A&M. It's on ESPN Plus. It's a 7 p.m. kickoff, 7 p.m. Eastern. All right, look, I love the transition. Let's not even take a break because I know, like I said, we go straight to it because I know these folks got a show to get ready for, and it was a great plug, a great intro. You heard Josh talk about it. None other than let's bring on to the show none other than Miss Erica Rochelle. Of course, Erica, co-host HBCU Nightly, proud Howard alum, and I will start the show. I don't know if you caught it earlier, Erica. I don't do apologies very often, but I gave an apology to Howard alums, and I will give an apology to you because I know I have dug deep into this Howard Hampton thing.
You have,
yes, I have over the last. Look, we've been doing our show for 9 years, so the last 8 years I've been digging hard. But you congratulate. I'll just stop and say I'm sorry, Howard. I'm sorry, Erica. Congratulations on the win. Big win. I thought you guys from the opening possession, you came out and punched Hampton in the mouth and just kept beating on him. At some point it's like that old meme in the Rocky movie where you got to throw the damn towel, and it was just like, I don't know. The towel, no one had a towel.
It was Rocky 4, we will break you. Leave no doubt.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, Erica, before I get into this, I do have to take my moment of personal privilege. I'm still upset with Larry for putting that last touchdown on us when y'all played us up in New York 2 weeks ago. That he should have took a knee. The game was over with. He did not have to add that other touchdown. Would have been it there. But I am glad that fourth quarter that Howard had against Morehouse seemed to propel them into this contest against Hampton, where honestly, if they don't give up that touchdown halfway through the fourth quarter, they had a shutout.
We had our third string in by that time. He called off the dogs.
Oh, he called off the dogs against them, but you're going to run it up against Morehouse. We see how y'all do.
I wanted 50. I really did. But, such is life. No, I'm very proud of the guys. Honestly, we sat a lot of starters for the Morehouse game too, because there were some injuries coming out of that Temple game. So I think that was attributed to the slow start that we got during the Morehouse game. But I think I was on campus on Friday. We had Alumni Association Executive Committee meetings, and I saw the guys, and I greeted them. I talked to them. They were completely locked in. They said, "You ain't even got to worry about it, Miss Erica. You ain't even got to worry about it." And within a minute and 30 seconds, we were up 7-0.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I hadn't even got situated. I got my TV channels all set up. I was surprised I found it and got it and sat down. I'm like, damn, already. It's like, Jesus. So look, one of the things that tipped me off that this was going to be a Howard day. Did you catch any of College Game Day, Erica? Did anybody?
I saw some posts about it, but I was preparing for my line sister's wedding, so I didn't get to really. I was watching it. I was watching the game while I was getting dressed, but I heard they messed up the stats. I think
they did. So first off, I didn't know that Desmond Howard's wife is a Howard alum. First off,
yes. Mm-hmm.
And so they did the segment where they talk about the game. They seem to be incorporating an HBCU contest into College Game Day every week. And so somebody gave Reese the stat that Howard had beaten Hampton 8 consecutive years. The 8 last. And I died laughing as I'm listening, but then I caught it and I said, wait a minute. They just went and had dinner at Desmond's house. The Howards done fed the folks. And so I'm like, well, hell, no wonder somebody slipped the PA and Reese Davis the wrong script and just had Hampton and Howard switched. And so I said, oh, man, Hampton's in trouble. I said, it ain't got this. I mean, look, you couldn't get a stat more wrong. But I said, somebody fed Reese the wrong. Yes. Yeah, somebody fed Reese the wrong stat. And next minute, you know, man, Howard is taking off in this contest. But
I think there was some, I mean, there's some bad feelings beyond just rivalry. Like the last 3 games, the way we lost the last 3 contests against them were like epic fails. I mean, that 2022 contest where we were up 20 something points going into the 4th quarter. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, or maybe it was 23.
I know what you're talking. I know which one you're talking about. The year it's either one of those 2 years. I know what you're talking about, though.
It was the year we went to the Celebration Bowl. Yes. I mean, that was just heartbreaking. Those guys were demoralized. I think they understand it. I think there's also had to be some education post-COVID, like what this rivalry means. And I feel like the players this year got it. I think the students this year have it. I mean, they were booing the mess out of Hampton all game. And then the coaches have it. I think we questioned a little bit as alumni whether the coaches had it previously, but this year feels very different. I mean, and they really, I was on campus, spirits were high. The whole campus was ready for this. They had a pep rally. It was family weekend. Like it was, we are not coming out of that game with anything less than a victory. And it showed.
Both of y'all, it's for some reason ESPN has shown, at least this year, a propensity of mixing Howard and Hampton up when having conversations. Yes. Think back to the MEAC Media Day.
Oh,
and they did
right.
that a couple of times also. You remember the look Jake Walker had when somebody mentioned Hampton instead of Howard when it should have been Howard.
Yeah, no, and when Shady McCoy said Hampton,
I didn't want to call him out. I'll let you call him out.
I'll say it. I mean, it was egregious, especially because there's no comparison. So I just think that I'm really proud of the guys, but also it's interesting. Like when Howard wins games, I feel like opponents always see it as their failings versus Howard winning the games. That Howard could actually be a very excellent team. Coach has rebuilt this roster. Last year was the doldrums coming off that Celebration Bowl loss, but the work he put in, the coaches and the recruiters have put in to rebuild both sides of the line, our wideouts, the running back core, and we've had phenomenal running backs the last 3 years. I mean, Kearney is the guy. Eden James didn't even dress yesterday. Like let's talk about it. He didn't even dress yesterday, right? So I think there was coming into the preseason when we were having our prognostications. I said, y'all sleep on us, but okay, I know what we got. And they were picking us 5th and 6th in the MEAC, et cetera. But I have confidence that we can beat Richmond this weekend. Richmond is not at peak of the U of R that we know. They have a very paltry offense, but a stout defense. So I think if we do 90% of the things right, I think we have a very good chance of winning that game.
Well, I will say I understand, and that whole it's not them, it's us. I've lived it. I've seen it. I mean, you're very familiar with after our season opening loss. And I kept trying to be the person that was looking at it from the perspective of I saw what I saw from Howard. And I know people had expectations that FAMU was going to be this, that, and the other. But I know what I saw for 4 quarters. And I kept saying, you guys are downplaying Howard, thinking that we being FAMU is supposed to be something more than just because we are FAMU, right? And so I get where that comes from. But I kept looking at Howard saying, I know what I'm seeing from this offense and this defense, and it ain't all us. it's like they got some players over there and they doing something right. And it's like, I feel a little validated now from what I'm seeing. And so when I hear you talk about having confidence against this Richmond, and then Richmond, and I think didn't Sacred Heart, aren't they kind of, so these are two good non-conference games coming up.
Correct. And you got to remember, Richmond lost to a Wofford team that South Carolina State beat.
Right.
So I think there's opportunity space there. And if you're going to be at U of R, please let me know. My family is helping to host the tailgate. So please hit me up on Twitter. But I think this is going to be closer than people think. I think Richmond can be got. And with the confidence, I mean, we're 3-1. When has Howard been 3-1 in September in the last decade?
In our lifetime.
Right.
I don't think, honestly, I don't think it's been like that since the Jay Walker days, to be truthful.
Or Ted White, maybe Ted White.
Yeah, maybe White, maybe Ted.
Yeah. And maybe the one season for Mike London, perhaps. We went 7-4 one of those Mike London seasons.
I don't remember.
That was the Kalen Newton year, wasn't it?
I don't remember a great start though. I mean, it was like two here, drop one, get another 2 or 3.
Yeah, that was the Caitlin Nate. That was the Newton year when they beat UNLV. Though,
yeah, UNLV. That was like 17, I think.
17, yeah. So, you know, I mean, let's be honest. We have an opportunity here to go into October 4-1.
So let me ask this, Erica. I don't know which one of you guys are a bigger surprise in the non-conference MEAC, Howard or what Delaware State is doing down there in Dover. So I asked this question. You're a MEACer. You're a MEAC for life. Will one of these two teams be able to break that stranglehold that the Carolina teams have on the Celebration Bowl turf?
I mean, we've already broken it.
Right. You're the only ones who broke it. You had the one blip on the radar. The year Howard went to the Celebration Bowl, lost to FAMU. Will it happen again this year? And what will it take?
I think this is the most competitive MEAC in years. Truly. I can see a situation, and I said this 2 months ago, I can see a situation where all of us got one loss.
Oh, here we go with that MEAC stuff again.
I mean, I haven't seen what I need to see from Morgan just yet, but they had a very difficult schedule coming up, or at the beginning. Now they're going into cupcake land. I think I can see a scenario where a Central loses to South Carolina State. South Carolina State loses to Howard. Howard loses to Morgan. Morgan. I could see it, and add Del State somewhere in there. I don't know. But I think people are sleeping on what I like to call the MEAC North. And so I think Deshaun is – that's like what I think they are. Yeah. I think Deshaun is who we thought Mike Vick was going to be.
Yes. I said that earlier.
And so, but what I like about Howard is that nobody's really checking for us. I think if we beat U of R, people will start to check for us. I still think we are overlooked and underestimated, and I think that's what we want. I'd rather than be focused on Central, South Carolina State, Del State, all the things, so that when we get to that final game of the season, then we see how it shakes out. I will say beating this Hampton team in the way that we did has me now questioning Tennessee State, and it has me questioning Jackson State.
Ooh.
Expand.
That Hampton team hung with Jackson State for 3 quarters and some change.
Say it. So let her say it, because if I say it, people are gonna be mad. But go ahead and tell it, Erica. I know where you're going.
Confused. I'm confused. Tennessee State barely beat A&T, who barely beat Hampton. Like Hampton blew that lead 10 points in the last minute, right? I have questions top to bottom of what we thought were supposed to be the stalwarts, the leaders. I think we're gonna go to Nashville and push Tennessee State around in a big get back. I think Jackson State is not a lock for the SWAC East. If you let that Hampton Pirate team hang with you for 3 quarters and some change, I have questions.
Can we drop the mic right there?
Yes, but I just want to know who's on the hit list. I still want to know, before I let her go, tell me about the rest of the hit list, because I know 2 teams have already been crossed off the hit list, and I know there's some other teams. So please, maybe you want to save it for tonight. So if you want to,
I'm definitely going to talk about it tonight. But Tennessee State, you're on the clock.
Okay. Ooh.
Tennessee State, you are on the clock. Promise you.
There it is.
Promise you. And then we get to MEAC play, and it's gonna be fun. These guys, when I tell you these guys are locked in, I haven't seen it this intense since that Celebration Bowl year, and I don't think it was that intense.
Wow.
Truly. They came to that FAMU game, that Orange Blossom Classic, and it was a business trip. They were still angry about that Celebration Bowl loss.
Wow.
The kids are locked in. The guys
get over it.
No.
I'm just playing. I
absolutely feel that was a game we lost. I absolutely feel that was a game we lost. A little bit of coaching, a little bit of, whatevs. But I've never seen Coach Scott like this.
That part right there.
I've had my critiques. I was on campus on Friday, and when the guys were passing my car, I was getting stuff to go to my meetings, and I was talking to them, and I walked around the corner on 6th Street to pass Cook Hall, and Coach Scott was standing at Cook Hall greeting every player as they walked in the dorm from lunch, standing at the door. You know what I mean? Like, I'd never seen it like this. I think the get back list is long, and I'm very excited about it.
Great insight, Erica. Make sure to tune in tonight, 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock, HBCU Nightly. They got.
Let me say, EA. I'm not downplaying the FAMU win over Howard. Let me not say that. We led for, I say, 90% of that game.
You did.
And had opportunities. We took field goals where we were in the red zone where we could have punched it in, right? The Dark Cloud defense did their thing. But we led for about 90% of that game. And when we went up on that interception for the touchdown to go up 26-24, and then immediately there was a trick play for you guys to go up 30-26 or whatever it was, the final score. Kudos to Willie Simmons for calling that in such a crunch time. And sadness to us that we weren't expecting it. I guess that's what the trick play is. But again, like, we had the talent to win that game and win it handily. And I think we let some opportunities slip. So not downplaying what FAMU did. You did what you had to do. But I just wanted to say that. I don't say FAMU allowed Howard to stay in that game when we were up the whole game. See, that's not how that works.
That's again, us. It's not us. It's y'all. So it's that whole thing. So
that's all I wanted to say. But thank you for having me. Yeah,
Erica, we always appreciate you joining the show. Have a great show tonight. Be well. Get you some tea in between now and then. Get you some warm tea with some lemon and some honey, and take care of that. All right.
I think I got sick in France, so I'm trying to recover. But.
Look at her showing off, talking about she all going to France and all that stuff.
See you later.
Bye, Erica.
All right, baby.
All right, good stuff.
Let's take that long overdue break, Brian.
Yeah, let's get the break. We'll be back right after these messages. You're watching the BCSN SportsWrap right here on the Black College Sports Network. AD, Drew, and myself, and we'll kind of get ready to close up the show. Maybe any unleft things we talked about from this past weekend, and also start to kind of look forward at what's upcoming week number 5/week 4 of the HBCU football season. We'll be back in just a moment.
When you're looking for the latest information on Southern University sports, the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and HBCU athletics, there's only one place to go. Tune in to the Carlos Brown Show, exclusively on the Black College Sports Network.
Planning an event? From weddings to corporate functions, CMJ Events LLC brings over 15 years of experience to make your vision a reality. Based in Metro Atlanta and serving statewide, even internationally, we provide versatile event planning and authentic catering cuisines tailored to your needs. Whether it's pre-game meals for student athletes, fundraisers, weddings, corporate functions, CMJ Events LLC is your one-stop solution for exceptional service and unforgettable food. Our diverse culinary heritage means we cater to all cultural taste, dietary needs, and food restrictions, making every meal uniquely yours. Let's make your next event unforgettable. Visit us on all social media at CMJ Events LLC or email us at cmjeventsllc@gmail.com. Also give us a call at 404-664-3882 so that we can start planning now.
College football fans, a champion will rise in Atlanta on December 13th. MEAC champion, SWAC champion, the 10th Cricket Celebration Bowl, crowning an HBCU national champion. For event and ticket information, visit thecelebrationbowl.com.
Since 2002, Empowerment Resources, Inc., a nonprofit organization, has empowered more than 1,500 youth and adults in Duval and surrounding counties. Through its programs, Journey into Womanhood, Girls Mentoring, Life Skills for Teens, and Parenting Education Coaching. To get involved with programs, volunteer, or donate, visit www.empowermentresourcesinc.org. Follow us on social media, facebook.com/empowerment.resources and instagram.com/empowermentJAX.
For over 30 years, HBCU Image has been more than just an apparel store. We've been a movement, a statement, a legacy. We celebrate the pride, the purpose, and the culture that make historically black colleges and universities legendary. HBCU Image, a Kenny T's company.
ESPN Events presents Red Lobster Band of the Year. Returning to Atlanta on December 12th, 4 bands will qualify for the big stage, where 2 national champions will be crowned. Follow us for rankings updates throughout the season, and join us on December 12th. For event and ticket information, visit bandoftheyear.com.
All right, welcome back to the BCSN. Welcome back to the BCSN SportsWrap. Bryan and A.D. here. We want to take a second again to thank Joshua Sims, Erica Rochelle, both of HBCU Nightly. Make sure you check them out after we get off the air. You can find them on, just search HBCU Nightly and it'll pop up. They're everywhere. So should be a good show tonight. Full house, lots of guests, a full load of people, and it's a good show, great show. But there's gonna be some crow that's gonna be eaten by some, and there's gonna be a lot of smack talking by some others.
Would David be on the show tonight?
Dave won't duck. I don't think. He should be there unless he's traveling or busy or work related. He'll be there, but yeah. I did not know that. That's an impressive number. That's 700. What was the total? What was the number again? 7 what? Hold up. I got it right here. 745. Second largest offensive production. Did you say in the history? At least since 2012.
Yes.
But maybe second overall.
Right.
Wow.
Damn.
I saw the
Bryan. And Bryan, just so you can put that into perspective, there's always been this unwritten metric when it comes to football and yardage and points. Every 100 yards should equate to 7 points. So for them to put up 62 points, 58 of them offensively, we'll take the 2 safeties out. So for them to put up 58 points offensively, when at 700 yards, your number should be 49. So to be that far ahead of the curve is impressive if you're North Carolina Central.
Give that average again. You said for every 700 what?
Every 100 yards, you should score 7 points. If you
Okay,
think about it, the length of the football field is 100
Okay.
yards. If you go 100 yards, you should have 7 points.
And you said they ended up with, and you said with 700, they should have got what, 56?
49. 700 yards times 7 points is 49 points. So they were well ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
Where they scored
and we got half 100.
They scored 8.5 points per 100
Yeah.
yards instead of 7 points per 100 yards.
Yeah.
There's a stat for you nerds out there to go figure out if your offensive production is where it should be, and vice versa on your defense.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
The one last game, I think, just kind of looking through the scores here, we got to take a second and mention what Virginia Union did to Johnson C. Smith. And that's previously unbeaten Johnson C. Smith, if I'm not mistaken, right?
That would be correct.
And that would be Virginia Union, who just came off of a tough road loss to Edward Waters, right? Now, I know there was a lot of talk. Let me see. This game did not count for who?
It did not count for...
I think it's Union. It didn't count for Union.
Yeah.
Because Johnson C. Smith, according to the website, the CIAA.com, Johnson C. Smith is 0-1 in conference play.
Yes, it counted for them.
Okay.
It did not, the games did not count for the 2 Virginia schools this week. That's what it was.
Right. And so even though, and for Winston-Salem State, who had Virginia State was up. Hold on. Okay. So I know I'm just jumping ahead here, but let me stop for a second. Let me give proper credit to.
Yeah, because I got something on this game.
Union. Union just with a solid, production throughout the course of the contest. Never trailed. It was tied at one point in the second quarter off of Kelvin Durham touchdown run. But Virginia Union, Curtis Allen, who had not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 touchdowns in the contest. I mean, Jada Byers, move over Jada Byers. Hello, Curtis Allen. That's how they do it at Virginia Union. 4 touchdowns on 108 yards, 23 carries. Pretty good night,
200 yards as a team on the ground, Brian. And also the telling stat where you kind of look at this, Johnson C, 11 penalties for 101 yards. Virginia Union did not play a clean game either. They had 10 penalties, but only 66 penalty yards.
Yeah.
So those 45 yards were huge.
Yeah.
We look at the grand scheme of things.
Yeah. But I think obviously, given the way that the schedule flows, it's still too early to mark either one of these teams. I guess the big kick in the sack for Johnson C is, you missed that opportunity last year after going 8-0. And you lost the last 2 games. Maybe losing. Nobody likes to lose, but losing a little earlier in the season maybe gives coach an opportunity to kind of reset the focus. And I don't know, maybe.
Yeah. How about that Winston-Salem Virginia State game, Brian?
Oh my God, I watched some of that game and then I turned it off, and next minute I knew they were back in the ball game again.
Right. And then for Winston-Salem to come back, and then the missed PAT being the difference in the ball game, with Winston-Salem scoring the last touchdown, but the kick failing.
Well, set it up right. Set it up. Let me set it up for you, right? Winston-Salem State goes into the halftime with a 13-10 lead thanks to a 20-yard field goal, right? Virginia State comes out and scores 3 consecutive possessions in the third quarter. Going
touchdown,
up
2 touchdowns and a field goal.
Right. Yeah. Going up 27-13 at that point. But wait, they're not done. Winston-Salem State would score in the third quarter, cut the deficit to 7. Virginia State would come back and they would score their third touchdown of the quarter and 24th point of the quarter. At this point, it's 34-20, Drew. And I swear I had cut off. I stopped watching. I flipped the stream off because I'm like, oh, this is over. Right? Next minute I knew, I come back, and not only did Winston-Salem State score on a 9-play, 70-yard drive in the fourth quarter to cut the deficit to 34-27, they came back with 5:55 to go, and I caught this one. And, well, actually, I caught the 11-15 one, and then I cut it off and came back again. And 6 plays, 76 yards, Noah Marshall, 4-yard run, 34-33, and they missed the PAT. Now, this isn't like NFL PATs, Drew, where, you're kicking from like 35 yards out.
Yes.
This is supposed to be a chip shot. This is like you or I could kick this theoretically, right? Guys who practice this every day are supposed to be able to make this, assuming that, the snap is good, the hold is good, the blocking's good. Yeah, no. 34-33. So obviously that's how the game ends. But man, you talk about a tough break for Winston-Salem State. Special teams were awful. Yeah. I guess they must have been. Just kind of go with a theme of what I've seen in college or football, just in period today. Today, all kinds of special teams was a mess. But man, that's a tough spot. Average starting possession. So, needless to say, I think that was, let me see. Was that the only other? There was one other game in the CIAA. Livingstone taking out Bowie State at home 17-16. We aren't that far removed, Drew, where Livingstone was the bottom dweller of the division, of the conference. Last year, they have a breakout season where I think they finished 6-4. They essentially, if I'm not mistaken, they're the reason Johnson C. Smith did not go to the championship game, right?
Yeah.
And so Livingstone just kind of letting people know that, hey, don't write us off. Don't write us off. We're 2-1, 1-0 in conference play. Don't write off Livingstone this year.
Hey, Bryan, can I ask you a question? You've been around this HBCU space for a long time, just like I have. Have you ever personally met a Livingstone grad?
I actually have one of my former students at our high school. He runs track for Livingstone right now.
Okay. I still have yet to actually meet a Livingstone grad.
We've got who is it? We got a Livingstone fan that is that always jumps in. That's in the chats usually. I don't know if he's in there today, but so I mean, indirectly, maybe I met somebody. But I can say, I do have the one thing I do like is the fact that I do have a former student that is
that works for me.
Livingstone grad. Yeah, he runs track for a Livingstone, and he enjoyed it. I mean, coming from Central Florida, a small Christian school, to an HBCU, he'll look at me and go, Mr. Fulford. And, when they give that look and say Mr. Fulford, they just kind of shake their head with their eyes. Right? You know what he's seen, and it'd be like, my head is like blown. I didn't know there's this many of us, and we are beautiful and intelligent, and it just the
power of a HBCU.
Yes, the power of the HBCU to the young folks, and I wish I could expose more students, especially in Central Florida, to HBCU. Doesn't have to be FAMU. I'm okay with exposing them to Bethune and Florida Memorial and Edward Waters and Tuskegee's and all the other HBC. Once you get on campus,
can't get no Morehouse love, man. Can't get no Morehouse love.
Morehouse, it's hard to get into more. It's hard to get into Morehouse. It's hard to get into Morehouse. Morehouse ain't everybody. Morehouse ain't for everybody.
Morehouse not for the faint of heart when it comes to academics.
No, it's not. I think
same thing as Howard.
Yeah. Any other games that I know we didn't really talk about the Grambling comeback late in the fourth quarter. How about the SWAC going 4-0? That maybe we shouldn't bury that. What's that?
It said including 2 FCS victories.
Exactly. Alabama A&M got a win over Lane. We already mentioned Bethune getting a win over Edward Waters, so that's the whole SWAC over the SIAC. But then Grambling over East Texas A&M, an FCS school, and then Prairie View doing what Alcorn couldn't do, getting I think it was a close game though, 27-24 win over Northwestern State. And I'm still trying. I know we got a couple historians in the chat. When was the last time the SWAC went unbeaten on a Saturday during the non-conference season? Anybody got an answer there? I'd love to know when's the last time that occurred. I don't know if we got an answer from AI, but the history. It'd be nice to know. Maybe sometime one of these weeks during the show this week, one of our shows or somebody's show, somebody will kind of do the historical research there and give us the numbers. But 4-0, Drew.
Okay. All right, Brian. I actually typed this into Chat GPT.
Okay. Let's see what AI knows.
And it says, I couldn't find a definitive record of the last time the SWAC conference as a whole defeated 2 FCS teams on the same day. It appears no readily available source documents that specific event. So I'm going to go to my Copilot and see if Copilot has anything better.
So we potentially could have been looking at a historic day. Rim, Steve says ChatGPT is awful on HBCU history. Yes, I do know it's that's why I said it the way I said it, Edwin, because I know Doc is out there and
Doc talked about it this morning. He couldn't remember.
Oh, okay. So, but I know Doc will do the research, and I guarantee I'm making a bet here. I like to bet. Tuesday, I'm willing to bet by Tuesday, Doc will have an answer, and he will be able. So make sure you tune in to Tuesdays inside the HBCU Sports Lab, or we can just put it out there. That's the homework assignment. That's the bonus. That's the bonus question. You want some bonus points on the next exam? Then somebody come back and tell me historically when's the last time the SWAC had a perfect day in the non-conference portion of the season. Yes, I agree 100%. Oniden would have been a great source for that. Rest in peace to Mr. Moore. I miss that site, miss him. Ooh. But yeah, so yeah, there's the homework assignment. So anybody can come up with that. I'd love to hear your thoughts and hear. And the SWAC needed that. I think the SWAC needed that because I think the number was 2-9 going into this weekend. And, I know the SWAC isn't playing for playoff consideration, but when you have the only school in the FCS top 25 rankings, I think it's important that the conference do well, be perceived as doing well in the non-conference, right? So, yeah, good job. Okay, I know we're only, real quick, Drew, as we look at standings here, and I'm just gonna go, just kind of, I'm gonna call this. I'm stealing this segment, so bear with me here. I'm just came up with this on the fly. Okay. I'm gonna give you like 2 or 3 questions. Okay. If I can find the standings here, give me a second. Football. Okay. In the SWAC. Okay, this is a SWAC question. Right now, Grambling State has the best overall record in the Western Division of the SWAC with a 3-1 record, 2-game winning streak.
Man, put that asterisk on that, man.
Hold on a second, Drew. While Prairie View has the only conference win, are we sure that Grambling State at 3-1 is better than Prairie View A&M at 2-2? Drew?
No.
Are you sure? Maybe it should be, are you sure? How about, are we sure?
I don't know about sure, but win over a NAIA and an overtime victory against a Division II does not impress Drew.
Okay. Does not impress Drew. All right. So I see a lot of people saying, hell no, of course not. Okay. One more SWAC related question.
But time out. PV did beat a conference opponent. Philip. Doesn't matter who it is, a conference opponent.
Okay. They did. They opened the
they
season
are 1-0
against Texas Southern
in the SWAC.
All right. This Saturday, Grambling Prairie View should be a good contest. Is that this weekend?
Yes. Got some good matchups this weekend.
Yeah. Okay. Are we sure, Drew, that the SWAC East is going to run through the state of Alabama? Alabama A&M currently 3-1, best overall record based on total wins in the East. Alabama State 2-1, second best record. Both teams are hot. Alabama A&M won 3 in a row. Alabama State has won 2 in a row.
I'm not saying that it's going to necessarily run through the state of Alabama, but it's leaning towards the state of Alabama. Brian, I think this is going to be, I'm going to say this, bold prediction, maybe not so bold prediction. The SWAC East champ this year will have at least one loss on their record. Think about it. The SWAC East champ since the pandemic has been undefeated every year.
One conference loss, you mean? One conference loss.
The SWAC East champ has been undefeated for the last 4 years. The SWAC East champ will have a loss this year.
Okay.
So, with that being said, this could potentially be the first time that the SWAC championship game goes out west.
Okay. All right. Good stuff. Let me jump over to the MEAC with an are we sure question. Now, looking at the MEAC standings right now, Delaware State and Howard are in first place. Overall record 3-1. Best percentage winning record right now in the MEAC. But the preseason 1 and 2 teams, as you've been talking about all week, all day today, coming out of North Carolina and South Carolina. North Carolina Central 3-2, South Carolina State 2-2. Are we sure that the predicted order of finish of 1-2 will still hold up by the time it's all said and done?
Brian, you asked that question, but you asked that question in the most inappropriate way. What you should have said, and this would have been a bigger headline with that. Will the teams who are predicted to finish 5th and 6th, i.e. last and second to last preseason, wind up being the top 2 teams in the MEAC this year? Howard, preseason 5th, Delaware State, preseason 6th. That should have been how you asked that question, Brian.
Okay. Noted. I will take that in. I will take that under advisement. if I come back to that question next week.
But I will say this. I think one of those two teams that were predicted to finish 5th and 6th will be in one of them top two positions based upon what we've seen early. I have not seen the consistency that I need to see from both of the Carolina teams, that being South Carolina State and North Carolina Central. But we have seen this song before out of those two teams from the Carolinas. South Carolina State probably year in, year out plays the most brutal non-conference schedule in the MEAC. And they come in upside down or right at 500. And then they wind up running through the MEAC, 4-1, 5-0. Central, the last under Trey Oliver, has been similar. They kind of go up and down during the non-conference, and then when it comes to conference play, they're always in the hunt. But I think one of those two northern teams is going to break that up a little bit this year, like Howard did in 23.
All right. And I wanted to ask, it's so early in the SIAC and the
No, I'll ask the question about the SIAC,
okay.
Brian.
Oh, go ahead.
Who is going to challenge Albany State? That's the question you need to ask about in the SIAC.
Well, are we sure Albany State will still be in the SIAC championship game? Maybe that's the better way of asking it.
Ooh.
I'm just asking. I'm just asking the question. Are we sure?
I mean, let's take a look at Albany State's schedule, because that would be one way to look at it. Okay, over the next couple of weeks, they have Allen. Wait a minute, Brian. In July, would we be talking about this Allen Albany State game that's coming up this Saturday in Albany, Georgia?
Again, I go back to I thought I said Allen was a team that people had to pay attention to.
You did.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so
you did.
But
right,
just checking.
So this may be the game of the week in the SIAC this week, Brian.
Let me see what else is out there.
I mean, with the win over Clark Atlanta.
Benedict at Clark is going to be a really good game.
But is it as sexy now with Clark coming in with the loss?
No, it's not as sexy. Okay, I got what you're saying.
Yeah. It's going to be a good game, but it's not the sexy matchup anymore. A
win by Allen, but here's
let's go down the SIAC schedule. You tell me the sexiest game now, based on what we've seen early. Allen at Albany State, Central State at Lane. No, I answered that one for you already. Benedict at Clark Atlanta, Miles at Morgan State, Circle City Classic, Fort Valley at Tuskegee, Kentucky State at Savannah State, Morehouse at Edward Waters. What's the sexiest game in the SIAC this week, Brian?
Yeah, I guess 1A is Allen at Albany State, and maybe 1B is Benedict at Clark.
Benedict victory over Clark this Saturday.
Say it. You're going to say what I think you're going to say.
I don't have to say it, Brian.
It knocks Clark out. It's early. It's early to knock somebody out, but man, talk about a long road, a long hill.
I mean, I'm not saying they're mathematically eliminated, but it's going to take some help if Clark was to lose another.
Yeah. Okay.
What about let's go CIAA, Brian.
Gotcha.
Let's see if we can find a sexy matchup in the CIAA.
This Saturday,
Union at Shaw,
mm-hmm.
Winston-Salem at Bowie State, Virginia State at Fayetteville State, Bluefield State at Johnson C. Smith, and Lincoln, PA at Livingstone. Winston, Bowie State. Both of
I'm gonna go
this
Virginia
is this.
State.
Wait a minute. Winston, Bowie State is almost an elimination game now.
Man, it sucks to have to be talking about teams being eliminated and we haven't even gotten to October yet. It sucks to think that way. How about we say instead of being eliminated, it's a big hill to climb.
It's a long road back game.
Right, it's a long road back.
It's a long road back game.
Yeah. I'm interested in Virginia State, Fayetteville State, to be honest. Virginia State coming off the road, having to go on the road a second consecutive week. And I don't know if we quite Fayetteville State is still like I think what
you don't know which Fayetteville State's gonna show up.
Yeah, you know what as the kids say, you know, I don't know which one they are. You know, I'm like, who is Fayetteville State right now? Yeah. We're still having identity crisis. We still think of Fayetteville State as being the team that dominated the South, and we got to the CIAA championship game. 4 consecutive years was it, or six consecutive years, or something like that.
I thought it was 7.
Yeah, maybe I don't know. I know they got there quite a few times and didn't win, but they got there, you know. But yeah. All right.
So how about Central and Grambling? I mean, how about Central and East Texas A&M?
As the
in the MEAC, you know,
is that the MEAC? Is that the MEAC schedule for this week?
I mean, that's one of the games in the MEAC that you definitely need to look out for. In the MEAC, you've got Norfolk State at Wagner, Delaware State at Sacred Heart, Howard at Richmond, Morgan State at Miles, Circle City Classic, South Carolina State at Charleston Southern, North Carolina Central at East Texas, and South Carolina State should handle Charleston Southern. I believe Charleston Southern is 0-3. Morgan State should walk all over Miles there in your hometown, Brian. Howard, Richmond will be an interesting one. Delaware State, Sacred Heart will be another one. You know, can Norfolk get off the schneid against a Wagner? Mm-hmm. Central, I'm interested in the Central East Texas A&M because this is another measuring stick when we're talking about measuring SWAC and MEAC with a common opponent between the two in East Texas A&M.
Right.
And since we're going down schedules, Brian, let's just quickly
SWAC.
Yeah, quickly go down the SWAC schedule. Wait a minute, I gotta flip it over to football. No, wrong sport. Football. Okay, this week, Alabama State at Florida A&M. Enough said about that one.
Of the week.
Probably I don't know, Brian. I'm gonna put a pause on that one. May not be the game of the week, but it's definitely a game of interest.
Okay.
Alabama A&M at Bethune-Cookman. Texas Southern at Mississippi Valley State. Grambling State at versus Prairie View A&M in the State Fair Classic. Jackson State versus Southern.
Ooh.
And Arkansas Pine Bluff versus Alcorn. That is in the Southern Heritage Classic. So we got, for the first time, we've got a full slate of SWAC games.
Full slate of SWAC games, yeah.
Yes. Conference games, not non-conference conference games.
Yeah. And the starts are nice times. You got the Florida games, which are, Alabama versus Florida. Those are 3:00 kickoffs. Valley is a 4:00 Central Time. Arkansas Pine Bluff is a 6:00 Central. Then you got Southern at 6 Central and Grambling and Prairie View 6 Central.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. You're gonna have to have multiple screens come Saturday night.
Yeah, the question is, can we get SWAC TV? Can SWAC TV run multiple? Can you run multiple screen, a multi-view setup on SWAC TV? Anybody know?
I haven't tried it. I mean, I know I could get it. I could turn multiple devices on, but I haven't tried it that way.
That'll be interesting to see.
That's incorrect, Chip. Southern Jackson State does count this year.
Yes, it does. Yes,
they're back on rotation.
Yeah, that was the previous 2 years where they didn't count.
Yes, everything's for real now. Oh, how about this one? Lincoln and Missouri took their first loss of the season, Brian.
Really? They were unbeaten up to this point?
Yes. They were 2-0, and then they had their bye. So now they're 2-1.
Let me take a second and run through with people the contest, the picks contest, because I know people are fascinated and want to know. Let's see. Make sure I got it here. All right. So here we go. Picks contest via the BCSN SportsWrap Pick 5 contest. Shout out to PV versus everybody and David and Kelly Flicks and Murray State 1983, all going unbeaten, 5-0 this week. You see that guy down at the very bottom, Drew? That's what happens when you rely on Edward Waters.
You actually picked that?
I did. That was probably a mistake on my part. See, I
done told you about your heart.
Look, I don't play this game the same way. I tried to, I can't fault people for picking games that are layups, like picking USF over South Carolina State. I see next year I'm going to start. See, this year I took out Power Fours. I think next year I may just take out all
FBS,
HBCU versus FBS contests. But I don't know how many games that would leave us. So that's why I have it in there. Emmett. Okay, Emmett Jones. That's Murray State 19. Okay, congrats, Emmett, on going 5-0. You got a ways to go there, though, Emmett. I think you must have missed a week somewhere. You must have missed a couple of weeks. Because David L. Rhodes, is the only one that's unbeaten so far through the first 4 weeks of the season, 20-0, running a perfect record right now.
As long as it's not his central team that he's betting on, he
stayed away from that game. I think he stayed away from that game. Two of my 4 losses in the season have come picking against Howard. So that's a school I think I'm about to stay away from going forward. And so had I not been, yeah. So anyway. Okay.
I'll give you the benefit of the doubt on one of those picks against Howard, Brian. The Florida A&M game. I give you that one.
Thank you. Okay, here's the schedule that people have to pick. Again, the Norfolk State at Wagner, Dale State at Sacred Heart, Hampton at Elon, Miles versus Morgan, Alabama State FAMU, Alabama A&M Bethune-Cookman, North Carolina A&T at Maine, Tennessee State hosts Tennessee Tech, Texas Southern versus Valley, South Carolina State traveling to Charleston Southern, Alcorn at UAPB, Jackson Southern, Central, North Carolina Central versus, they still call them Texas A&M Commerce on the site. And then the State Fair Classic, Grambling State Prairie View. Let me ask you this question, Drew.
Take the layup. Morgan State over Miles. That's a layup.
Morgan State over Miles. All right. What's the one game that you'd want no part of picking this week? Give me that.
Go. I scroll back down. I'm gonna be honest, Brian.
This is a tough week.
It's FAMU, Alabama State.
That's true.
I would not touch that with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah.
Alabama State has the better team on paper coming into this game thus far this year, especially based on performance. But FAMU and Bragg is something different. Yes, we know what happened last year, but throw that out the window. FAMU and Bragg is something different. So that's one reason I don't want to look at that game. And the second game I would not want to touch, Brian, would be Jackson State Southern.
Agreed.
On the road. On the road, Brian.
Mm-hmm.
So
both teams off a bye too. Both teams have been on bye week.
Coming off a bye, and the rivalry. So that's another game. And Brian, let's talk about this run. This run Jackson State is getting ready to go on. Southern this week. Alabama A&M next week.
Ooh.
Alabama State the week after that, before they go on their second bye.
Right. And then they go to Vegas to take on Grambling.
Right.
And then they come off that and play
Here's
FAMU.
the thing. When they play Florida A&M on November 1st, after playing in Vegas, if FAMU has any type of momentum, lean Florida A&M. Brian, you're asking a team in the Central Time Zone to go to the West, 2 time zones west, come back, and then go another time zone to the East. That is tough on the body.
Okay.
Forget the opponents.
Noted.
Just those times. And Brian, I know this from personal. Every time I travel from the West Coast to the West Coast, every time I travel to the West Coast, my body is screwed up for the next week because of the time zone differences. Keep an eye on that come November, everybody.
That's a good point. I think the other layup is Maine against North Carolina A&T. I'd seen via Twitter the quote from head coach Sean Gibbs. And quote, "That's the most embarrassing thing I've ever been a part of in my life." And hey, coach, get on the road and go to Maine.
Yeah, and that's what I'm talking about, Edwin. Yeah, going except Edwin, it's something about 9 o'clock in the morning and it's or 10 o'clock in the morning and it's Sunday and you seeing football while you eat breakfast. It's just something about that just messes your mind up, man. You know what I'm saying?
Is Maine easy? Let me see. Maine. Let's see. Right now, Maine is 0-4.
No.
But they've lost 2 of those 4 games by less than a field goal or less. So be careful about calling Maine easy.
Yeah.
One of those teams, Liberty, is an FCS school. They lost 28-7. That's not bad.
Yeah. Emmett, you're off a week on that time, going back. Daylight savings time is not until the week after the Florida A&M Jackson State game. And then even still, daylight savings time would not occur till after the game is over with because it's at 2 o'clock in the morning, Sunday morning, not Saturday. So daylight savings time would not be a factor in either of these games that I'm talking about.
The one Alabama team coming to Florida that I think I am taking this week is Alabama A&M. True. I'm taking Alabama A&M. So now I just need to find 2 more. Do we think Charleston Southern? So what is Charleston Southern?
I think they're 0-3 on the season, if I remember correctly, Brian.
Charleston Southern.
I looked it up earlier today.
Yeah, I'm looking it up real quick. They just lost to William and Mary 34-7. They just lost to Vanderbilt 45-3. They lost to Coastal Carolina 13-0. They lost to Lindenwood 35-28. Charleston Southern.
Is it Charleston Southern where Gabe is? Gardenia.
Oh,
Albany
yes.
State.
Yeah.
Isn't that where he wound up at?
Yep, it is. He's the head coach there. Yep. I don't know. Tough one here. You know, when I do this, I hate picking against HBCUs, but yeah.
Bad. You better act like you in Vegas. I have no. I love my HBCUs, except when I got to lay my pizza money on them.
All right,
I go with whoever I think is best.
I feel obligated, you know. So I got my one SWAC school one SWAC game, Alabama A&M over Bethune. I got a MEAC game, South Carolina State on the road. I'm going with Maine, and I'm going with Morgan State in the neutral site over Miles. I need to find the 5th one. I don't know if I trust Norfolk State.
I trust Wagner more than I trust Norfolk State.
Yeah, you know.
All right, go back down the list. I want to see who's at the bottom.
Let me see. Wagner's 0-4. So I don't know. You know, do you trust him? How much do you trust him?
Right. Brian, layup. Elon over Hampton. What is Elon looking like?
Elon. Let me see. Elon right now is 2-2. They just let me see. They lost to East Tennessee State 26-16. They've beaten West Carolina. No, Elon is 1-3. Excuse me, 1-3.
Okay, we're gonna leave that one alone.
Oh, I'm sorry. Wait a minute. No, they're 2-2. They beat Davidson 55-7. They beat West Carolina 37-31. They played Duke, FBS opponent, lost. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm surprised that. Yeah, Tennessee Tech or Delaware. That's an interesting one.
You don't like Central over East Texas?
Yeah, you know what? I'll drink the Kool-Aid. Man. I'll drink the Kool-Aid. Central, yeah. Look, that's why we had Josh on the show. We had Josh on the show. He was talking about that game. Yeah. And I'm trying to think, why didn't I have the Howard game on here? Why isn't the Howard game on here? Richmond. How come I must have skipped that one? Should I go back in and add that game, or should I just leave it off? It's kind of late.
Can you add it?
I'm the commissioner. Of course I can add it. All right. Total points, Grambling and Prairie View. I'm coming with a number. Keep it simple, 52 points. That's my tiebreaker. All right. So there's my 5 picks. I'm going North Carolina Central, South Carolina State, Alabama A&M, Morgan State, and I got A&T losing to Maine.
All right.
And my total 52 between Grambling and Prairie View. I think you're gonna see some points.
Which one? What is it? Set your best. Do you gotta do that?
Oh yeah, my best. My best bet. I gotta take Morgan State.
Yeah, take the layup.
Take the layup. I gotta go ahead and make the best bet: Morgan State over Miles in the Circle City Classic. All right, my picks are committed and saved. All right, there we go. All right, and I promise. See, I'm keeping it real. I put it on wax. I'm not gonna change mine. I set the picks and then I'm out. Now I know I'll have buyer's remorse somewhere probably by Friday. So, we'll see. Let me give a quick shout out before we get ready to wrap up the show, Drew, to our good friend Coach Johnny Hernandez and the Bethune-Cookman Wildcat baseball team. They got their rings over the weekend. There's some nice bling there. Yeah. You see some of the details. There's the record, 24-5. I think that's the conference record. I guess their motto, win the back third. The score of the championship game, Bethune-Cookman 11, FAMU 9. Oh, this is their SWAC tournament run. Yeah. So that's nice engraving there. And then they're the guys, they were on site for Saturday's game between Bethune and Edward Waters. So shout out to Coach Hernandez and the fellas. Congratulations. Enjoy the rings. And, I think Coach will get them ready for the upcoming season. I think fall ball is probably starting up for them sometime soon. Yeah. So, any other talking points, Drew, so we can get out of here and let people go check out our good friends at HBCU Nightly tonight? Any other talking points for the upcoming week or anything we need to be aware of? That's anything that's on your mind?
No, we mentioned SIAC Media Day. When I find out about any coverage, I will let everybody know.
Okay.
And this is, Brian, this is one of those weekends in HBCU football that's upcoming. All the matchups, the rivalries, the classics. This is that last set of games where everybody's tuning in before you start getting into homecoming season.
Yes, because homecoming start the following week. First weekend of October, homecoming starts. So this is the last, and I think, Drew, after this Saturday, so technically, tell me if I'm wrong on this, next Sunday will be the debut of the BCSN Top 5 finally.
Yes.
The first official poll, for those who aren't familiar with us, the Black College Sports Network, we don't drop our poll. We don't do preseason rankings. We personally may have some. We don't do the preseason stuff. We like to wait until the first 4 weeks of the season have been played out. And then now we have some data, the metrics. We've actually seen teams versus FBS versus FCS, maybe even some Division IIs. We have some real actionable data. And it'll be interesting to see what our computer rankings, and these are computer-based rankings, okay? So there's a formula to this. It'll be interesting to see, especially after Saturday and the first weekend of SWAC games. Yeah. Also want to give a reminder and let people know the BCSN Game Time show. Hopefully you've been on catching the BCSN Game Time show on Saturday, this past Saturday after the Carlos Brown show. Roy Evans and David L. Rhodes, they were at the Aggie Eagle Classic in Greensboro. The week before, I think Roy was in Jackson, Mississippi. And this Saturday, he and some others, we won't say who just yet because we're still working on that list, but the BCSN Game Time will be in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, with the Jackson State Southern Boombox Classic, as some people like to refer to it as, although that is not an official name. That is an unofficial name. But Jackson State Southern. So the BCSN Game Time show will be in Baton Rouge Saturday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern. So that is 8 Central. I think I have those times right. Make sure you're following the Black College Sports Network on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. During the course of the week, I know we'll probably drop some flyers and promotional stuff to let people know about that.
I got one question.
Yeah.
Will Carlos be live on location for the Game Time show?
Wait a minute, say that again.
Will Carlos be live on location for the Game Time show?
That's a great question. You know, given the fact that Carlos's show usually is 11, you know, Carlos is in Baton Rouge. So for Carlos to do the show from his home is where he normally does it. It would make sense, but I don't know if Carlos wants to be out there
that long.
But then again, I don't know how far Carlos lives. You know what? I'm about to just ask. We'll find out. You never know. You never know. Carlos might be live on location. He might do his show right from there. It would make sense, right? It would be a good fit.
Might be able to get Perry from Jaguar Journal there too.
Possibly, yeah. You know. But yeah, I'll talk to. Matter of fact, I'll bring that up to the boss and see if he reaches out to. That's a great suggestion. But I think it'll all depend on Carlos and kind of what his schedule is like, and will he be able to get home following doing it a live remote, and you know, kind of recharge the batteries a little bit before coming back to the stadium at night.
Carlos may want to just go on out there after the show's over, just do the tailgate, but that would be like 5 consecutive hours for Carlos on the air.
I wouldn't wish that on anybody. I would put like this. I wouldn't want to do that, and I can be crazy, but you know.
But anyway, we've done worse.
We have done worse, and so I don't wish that on anybody. So that's why I said I would not recommend that. You know.
Yeah.
Anyway. So where will you be on Saturday, Drew?
I will be in Duval.
Okay. Coming out this way.
Morehouse takes on the Edward Waters Tigers. The Battle of the Tigers. The maroon versus the plain ones.
The plain ones. All right. That'll be a SIAC network broadcast, I think I saw.
I'm not 100% sure. I have not seen. Brian, if I'm not producing the game, I'm not even worried about it. But it will be somewhere.
You letting some. Hold on, I got it right here. Hold on, let me see. Well, it doesn't say SIAC network. It says video. So I don't know. Let me see. Where's that video? Nope, it is SIAC network. Yeah. So supposed to be on Edward Waters' page, SIACnetwork.tv.
Yes.
All right. Well, that's good. That's good. I of course will be in Tallahassee, Florida for FAMU versus Alabama State, doing the radio broadcast for the Rattler Football Network. Myself and Albert Chester doing the game. Should be a big game in Tallahassee. I think it's a white out. So, you know, we're telling all the Rattlers to wear white, and we'll make Alabama State wear black, I'm sure. And so, you know, try to make them suffer a little bit in the heat. But I'm looking forward to the game. Should be Andrew Body's first visit to Tallahassee. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. So, all right. Well, that's it, Drew. Let's
get out of here.
Yeah, wrap this show up and get out of here. Thanks to everybody in the chats for all of your interaction and being a part of everything that we got going on. Make sure to follow the BCSN Pod Zone on all the podcast platforms that you have. Download, rate, review, subscribe, all of those things. Hit the thumbs up and the like button if you're watching the show live right now. Hey, you can even do it if you're watching us on replay. Hit the thumbs up and the like button. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you to everybody again. Thank Joshua Sims. Thank Erica Rochelle of HBCU Nightly. Go check them out after you log out and hit the thumbs up and the like button with us. Should be an entertaining show tonight. And be locked in for all the shows on the Black College Sports Network. No Monday night review show for FAMU because there was no game. So that means the next show on the network will be Tuesday's episode of Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. So, yeah. All right. That's going to do it, man.
Probably have a new number one in Dr. Cavill's poll.
For the mid-major?
Yes.
Who was number one? Johnson C?
Edward Waters.
Oh, they were number one. Oh, how did I miss that? Ooh.
Yes.
All right. You know, I don't vote on that poll. I don't know why, but I don't. But anyway.
That's because you don't submit.
You're probably right. Anyway, be interesting to see who the new number one is this upcoming week. You got to tune in to Tuesday to find out.
I've
right,
already submitted mine. So
you submitted yours. Look at you being on time. All right, look at you. All right, that's going to do it for tonight's show. Thanks for watching. Next Sunday night, the debut of the top 5, the BCSN top 5 for Division-I and non-Division-I will be coming out right here on this show. So thank you to everybody for watching. Appreciate all of your support. For A.D. Drew, I'm Brian Fulford. Thanks for watching the BCSN Sports Wrap, the longest running HBCU sports show on the interwebs. Peace out, everybody.
travel light. Well, holla.